Hello, it's been a while since I made a recording and put it up. So here today we're going to start out with a log arch for my milling. Here you see a trailer that I just bought recently. It's a homemade trailer, good heavy steel, which is what I needed. 'Cause I'm going to be lifting a lot of weight and disassembling or deconstructing the trailer. Log arch, as you'll see, is used to move logs from the woods or wherever you have it at to where you want it without dragging it on the ground. Some log arches can be used to drag it on the ground. This is the finished product after a young lady, Miss Elizabeth, in her mobile welding service came by and welded it all together according to my specifications after I had chopped it up into various pieces. In just a moment, you'll see the operation and how the log arch works. And in these pictures, I had just a big 2x8 sitting in there to demonstrate as if it were a log. Here you'll see at the site down near the coast of North Carolina, had a place where I could get some of these, they call them white cedar logs, but they're a juniper, very much like cedar. Smells like cedar, has the same properties as cedar, but it's more of just a white wood. Here the log arch was made. It's light enough that I can pick up the tongue and move it around, which is important because trying to back it up in the woods is probably a little bit difficult. The log arch in this case, I made it to have a 5-foot span between the front, the opening area between the axle and the front area. So it's 5 foot long, so I could basically haul a 10-foot log. You wrap the chain around right about in the middle, slightly rear of center, because you want a little bit of the log weight to be toward the tongue, not because of tongue weight, but because of balancing the log. The tongue weight of the trailer really doesn't change. You're lifting the log directly over the axles, so you're not really adding any tongue weight. Back the trailer over the log, hook the chain hoist. And a lot of people use a winch on here, but I went with a chain hoist. I thought I'd try it out. This is the first log I'm lifting, so I had no idea how it would work. But I shortened the chain hoist pull chain though, just to like 18 inches long, so it wasn't dragging the ground. You'll see here basically zero effort. I'm lifting this log right up. And the front of the log's still on the ground, but it's balanced. I can easily lift it, throw the front chain around it, and just hook it up. And now I have a log that's not being drugged. This will come in handy, like if I'm going to someone's property to mill a log and they don't want their lawn to be torn up, of course. Or even at my yard, I don't want to tear my yard up. With this, I can go in, hoist a log, take it right out. Don't tear up the ground at all. See here, even with the log, I can still easily lift the tongue of the trailer, hook it up, throw it on the four-wheeler, and I'm out of the woods. Just reverse the operation. I just stopped and put a rope on here because the log still swung side to side a good bit, so I just tied a rope on the log to keep it from swinging back and forth so much, side to side. Be sure you unhook the front chain first, otherwise you're going to have all the weight on that front chain once your log gets on the ground. Still got some modifications to make as I go along and discover things here. I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for myself. Don't want to work too hard.
Watch this.
This isn't as impressive as it looks, really. These white cedar logs or juniper, they're actually not real heavy for their size. If I could do this with a red oak, we'll see. Probably not. But these white cedar actually were not, or white cedar were not too difficult to move around. They're still a few £100, but I think a log of comparable size, if you're getting into an oak or a hickory or something like that, is probably not going to roll up there as easy with that strap like I just did this one. Once it's on the bunkers, they're level, they're smooth, not terribly hard to move around. Just got to get your bracing right. I can push the log back to where I need it to be. A little limited with my fender wells on the side here. I have to roll the log up where I have space and then move it back where I need it. I've fastened it down on the bunkers. I'm taking the first slab off here, taking the bark off. The bark and a couple inches of wood. And every time I forget to move my ramps, so I bump them and have to stop. Continue. I still have the original blade in the saw. I dinged it a couple times in the learning process. So I'm not quite ready to change it out to a brand new blade yet because I want to make sure I'm past getting the dings in it. I did have a problem with the water feed. That's the white hose you can see coming down. That's has a drip on it that you said that drips on the blade. What it is, it dissipates heat. Does a little bit of a lubrication, but that's not really its main purpose. It's to dissipate heat. But the quick connect on it was garbage. Every time I turned the water on, the water would just flow out around the quick disconnect on there, so I'd run out of water pretty quickly. Now that I've changed it out, put a decent one in there, that 2 gallons of water lasted me all day in there. After you take the first slab off there, you roll the log about 180 degrees so the flat side is down. Then when I take the next slab off the top here, the top and bottom are gonna be parallel. So this is the beginning of making it a cant. It'll just basically be about an 11 by 11 beam when I'm done. At which point I'll just start taking off 1-inch boards. Here I'm going to speed up the videos a little bit. You don't need to watch me cut every pass. Kind of boring. So Now after that cut, this log is square top to bottom. I still have the bark on the, I guess in this instance, the right and the left sides. Those will be next. The mill, surprisingly, is not very loud. I idle it down every time between each cut, and I just idle it back up. It's got a thumb throttle on the right side over there where the handle is, push handle. It holds about a gallon of gas, and I cut all day on that gallon of gas. Actual time on the mill, even though I cut for several hours during the day, the actual run time of the mill is only about 3 to 4 hours. A lot of in-between time when I'm hauling logs and moving stuff around. That's side 3. So now you can see it's starting to look like a big beam. I think this log was about 7 foot long, maybe 6. Here's the last flip. That's the last piece of slab wood right there. So I'll start cutting boards right here. My trailer wasn't quite level, so I have an auto return on the mill there, just by gravity. Still control it though, I don't want it to hit the bottom end there and flip off or something. There's board number 1. I'll just keep on going right down through the board, there the log, and making boards. Thanks for watching.